Hey, what's up guys, DiplexHeated here again, welcome back to Men of War Assault Squad 2 and welcome back to the Rising Sun mod. Today we're going to be enjoying a beach landing, US Marine Corps infantry supported by armor, mainly LVTs of various shapes and kinds. We'll be attacking roughly a company of Japanese soldiers defending the beach. We have a few bunker positions, plenty of trenches. We have an AA gun, we have a machine gun position up on the hill back there in the distance, covering the flank. We also have two AT guns that are meant to sort of be some sort of coastal artillery and a mortar position. And what we just passed down here were two of the bunkers and two other MG nests that are like covered by sandbags. We can kind of see them there. We see the anti-air gun, the twin barrel AA gun in the center, which I believe is 25 millimeters, which will be quite interesting. We also have the two 75 millimeter type 4 guns back here. Static weapons, they've been mounted to the ground. They are supposed to cover the coast. A few more MG positions on both sides of the trenches, plenty of Japanese infantry down here covering, and one hell of a rocky and kind of harsh beach. There's not a lot of cover. There is some natural differences in altitude when it comes to the terrain here. There are some slight elevations and declines, so to speak. There's also a bit of flora that might actually help the US Marines attacking. We'll take a closer look at the beach itself. So right down here, there's one big kill zone, but if you do make it up past the beach towards the first set of trees here, there's actually some interesting cover. And I have actually made this map myself, so I've been able to tailor it to this battle very nicely, and I'm just very excited to see how this is going to go. First line back here, we have lots of infantry, some Japanese Lewis guns, probably captured, but they are indeed Japanese. And then we have two other Type 1 or Type 92 machine guns in the bunkers, more infantry to kind of cover the front. These guys are going to get hit pretty hard by the first wave of US Marine Corps and LVTs. We also have more infantry in the trenches here. We have some more MG nests covering the flanks, and another big trench followed up by this. Let's take a look. It is indeed a 25 millimeter Type 96 AA gun, twin one. There's one with 3 barrels, and there's also the single one. I thought 2 would be a nice middle. Then we have another machine gun nest here, and there's some tricky terrain where there's plenty of cover for the Marines attacking, and there are elevations and declines in terrain back here as well. So while it does look very flat from the top, it's once you get down to the scale of the soldiers, it does make a big difference. Plenty of cover. Back here we have the 75 millimeter Type 4 land-based guns. Very cool. They're going to be bringing down hell on the troops on the beach. A mortar back here. I think this is a Type 96. 99 light mortar, sorry about that. And then of course a little MG nest, like a makeshift position up here to cover the flank from the US Marine Corps infantry that might be approaching from here. So there's going to be 3 waves. In each wave there will be 6 LVTs of various shapes and kinds, carrying roughly on approximate 12 men each. That means 70 men per wave, right? 12 by 6? No, that means 72 men, right? Okay. Might as well settle this one for once and for all. And there's going to be 3 waves of that in total. So if there's an average of 12, I think some of them can carry 13, but 12 might just be easier. Yeah, there's going to be 72 per wave times 3. 216 men. That is easily going to outnumber the Japanese defenders times 2. So it's going to be a good one. For the third wave, the US Navy will be firing 6 shells from a battleship out on the coast. That will be raining down some pretty heavy shells here. Maybe not a battleship, because those shells would be at least like, I don't know, 350 millimeter, which would create some pretty big explosions. But perhaps a frigate or a destroyer with the capacity of firing at least 120 millimeter shells. They're going to be firing a salvo of 6 rounds for the third wave. And it's going to be pretty damn cool. This is, I've tested this scenario a few times. It's very unwise. I have no idea what's going to happen. The scenario is we're invading Shikoku, yes, which is mainland Japan. It's actually one of the smallest provinces. It means the 4 provinces, I believe, Shikoku, and it's the southern island where it kind of is surrounded by mainland Japan from its southwest to northeast. And then there's obviously an open face with the main capital of Koshi, I believe, facing the Pacific Ocean itself, and that's kind of near where we're landing. Perhaps, what's that beach called? I can't remember it now for some reason. But it's near the, it was quite a rocky beach, and I think I did some Yeah. Wait. I'm gonna Google... I should have done this before. I should have had it ready. If I was gonna go on about forgetting things, I might as well have just done it before. Yes, it is indeed the smallest province as well. The city is indeed called Kochi, and the island the beach I was looking for was kind of a little special beach. I think it was called nothing else but... well, I'm not gonna find it because I found it on a map and I thought it was suitable. And then how am I supposed to find it again? Didn't really save the location, but the location is less important. The setting and mood is more important, and it's going to be one hell of a cool battle. So without further ado, let's start the battle. And before I do start, I'm not going to be controlling any infantry. I'm only going to be controlling a few vehicles to get the soldiers out of the vehicles, and then I might like remove or add move orders. So it'll be really cool nonetheless. But let's click start and let's enjoy the first wave coming in now. And we'll see how they fare. I'm not going to be touching the first wave at all. It's going to come down to the Japanese defenders here and how much damage they can do to the first wave of US Marines. Coming in here, we have, I believe this is the LVT-1. Then we have the LVT-4, and then we also have the one with the M8 Scott turret on it that fires a nice explosive shell. Okay, Japanese coastal artillery is opening up. Oh, jeez, that is not good. One vehicle entirely destroyed. Oh, there goes the second one. It is bloody off the bat. 4 vehicles remain, though, and they're slowly going to be progressing up the beach, supporting the infantry to try and get a foothold. You don't want to get pinned down on the beach itself. Japanese machine gun nests. And the MGs inside the bunkers are opening up. This one's been taken out. That's very nice. Both of them have been taken out, in fact. So that's a lot less machine guns facing down the American attackers. Oh, look at that AA fire. Oh, jeez. Damn, it's just like a smoke cloud of metal debris. There we go. Hit by one of the coastal guns back there. And the very cool looking crew with the Colt 45s are going to be jumping out. 1911s. Jeez, look at that AA gun just rip. Holy hell. Well, the first wave has definitely got plenty of survivors. Also plenty of casualties. Oh, one of the vehicles have somehow dismounted the troops prematurely. That has never happened before. Wow, it's always different once the showtime's on. I'm going to go ahead and quickly just get these soldiers out before they're slaughtered inside the vehicles. This one was hit, so the soldiers are naturally going to jump out on their own. Jesus, look at that. That one lost their tracks. And a few other Marines have decided to jump out prematurely, and they will have to swim ashore. But that might just be safer right now. Anyway, that's plenty of more US Marines hitting the shores, and I think we might be able to see some progress very soon. This is a fictional battle, so there needs to be no set conclusion to how it's going to end. We have no idea who's going to win this battle. And right now it's looking extremely grim for the attackers. But the defenders have almost lost the entire front line back here. Only a few handful Japanese survivors and plenty of dead here in the trenches as well. And we're going to keep some of the vehicles back here to support with the 50 and 30 caliber machine guns. Look at that. Second wave has been pinned down quite heavily, as a matter of fact. And barely any vehicles remain combat active. One of the LVTs here on the side. The Water Buffalo, indeed. There is another variant as well that has 4 machine guns attached. 2 on both sides and 2 50 cals up the front. But in this game it can carry less troops, so I decided to bring on the one with more troop capacity. Wow, look at all these troops just staying down, holding it down. PAR opening up some suppressing fire here from a crater. And this guy is ready to move, so we're going to send him up here on the left flank just to support some of the infantry that has actually moved up on that side. Let's see how this one does. Japanese artillery zeroing him in, and it's going to be a very bad ending for him. But the next wave has arrived, and that means coastal artillery. Let's enjoy the fire show back there. 6 rounds. Randomly dropped on the area. Hopefully they will do some good work. We'll find out how much damage they did to the Japanese defense in just a second. Well, that was nice. 1 round hit fairly close here. Took out some of the sandbags, but they are meant to obviously defend the people behind. 1 soldier was killed and the gun was damaged. Did any other rounds connect nicely? We have a few up here. I'm afraid the 6-round barrage did not connect all too well at all, but it's always going to be random. But now that that 1 gun is being repaired, that might mean a chance for these vehicles to move up with a little less harassment from the enemy guns. We'll find out, simple as. Be sure to dismount all the infantry here from the 3rd and final wave of US attackers. And of course these vehicles won't do any good sitting back here. Let's move them up. Damn, there's a lot of... ooh, look at that, explosive rounds too, hitting the Japanese trenches. Oh, and I think this AA gun is being targeted right now as well. Oh, and it's taken out. No, it's not. One of the crewmen were hit, though. It's being reloaded right now. It might need repairs. No, it's firing away. Damn, look at that thing. One of the men were dead, but gunner seems to be alive and can still operate the gun itself. How's it looking with these vehicles? They're all taken out. But plenty of US Marines still remaining. A lot of them are hard to be spotted because they're actually blending in quite nicely with the terrain. But in previous test rounds, I have seen a very different result. And I think for the hell of it, we're going to do a 2nd round as well. So that's not because I'm not pleased with the result, but it's because I like to demonstrate how different things can actually turn out. So right now, after the 3rd wave and the artillery bombardment, we can conclude that the Americans have not entirely secured the front line yet. The first bunker line still has Japanese defenders laying down. No vehicles have made it past that line either. They're all pretty much taken out. This guy does seem to be alive. So I'm going to send him up because, once again, there's no purpose in having him sitting back there. Machine guns will come in handy, but of course those coastal guns are going to rip him apart. There's 1 remaining now, though, which is better than 2. And we can also tell that a lot of Japanese defenders have been killed elsewhere in these trenches, and plenty of people back here too. But right now, the definitive US strike force has lost its edge. Troops are starting to move up here, though, to the bunker line, but they're quickly shot down. It's going to be a very gruesome close-quarter combat situation where hand grenades and possibly hand-to-hand fighting will be utilized. Mortar's starting to drop really close now to the Japanese defenders, but the mortar man back there has no choice but to just fire away. Plenty of US Marines remain, though, so it's going to be a nice infantry firefight for the rest of this attempt. But I do want to really push the fact that I really want to do a 2nd round where we do things exactly the same, but alas, they'll end differently. AA gun still active. It's an absolutely gruesome landing. Look at all the tracers, explosions, and bullet impacts. It's insane. One of the MG gunners on the left side here have been killed, but the right one, more towards the center, is still standing, and he's going to be just pouring it on the American attackers. Damn, it's pretty nasty up here, but there are still Japanese defenders. There's one submachine gunner over here. Plenty of American soldiers on the opposite side. We have a squad leader over there. Potentially even an officer not carrying a backpack, surrounded by men from his squad and platoon. Some BARs back here laying it down. Right now, the American forces are very pinned. That MG nest completely collapsed on itself after a few too many artillery hits. How's it looking on the right side? Not a lot of progress. There's a whole squad over here that has the capacity to move up. This trench is pretty much cleared out entirely. There are more Japanese defenders back here, though, but that's something they can obviously counter. How's it looking on the far left side? Very quiet. A few drivers armed with just pistols remain there. Oof, mortar shell hit that guy in the back. He's going to be blown apart. Actually, he might still... Yeah, he got up, though. It was just blown away by the shockwave. He was lucky to not be hit by any deadly shrapnel. We have another section sitting back right now. There's just not enough support and infantry to push through, and the first line has hardly been captured yet. There's still 4 Japanese defenders right here. And there's still this SMG gunner who's just looking for an opportunity to kill some American Marines up close. Oh, jeez. So much fire from both sides right now. Very devastating indeed. Once again, we're going to let the AI do absolutely everything on their own. Let's see what happens with this platoon here in the center. They're holding a firm grip around the destroyed LVT, but not much else seems to come out of it. That mortar is still dropping shells. We're going to see one land in a second. Boom, and it's close, but it's not quite on target. If they could actually increase the distance just a little bit, they'd land some pretty juicy rounds on a lot of American soldiers over there. Damn. Yeah, this landing is so drastically different than pretty much every other landing I've seen before. Sometimes the artillery shots get some really good hits on the defenses, and sometimes some vehicles just survive longer to do more damage, and sometimes the right Japanese soldiers die and the right American soldiers survive in order to make a very big difference in the battle itself. But we haven't really spent a lot of time on this battle yet, and I don't mind uploading longer videos, that's for sure. So I think we're going to call this one quite inconclusive right now. I know this firefight is going to go on for a very long time in this matter. And right now, it's just the positions of both sides are great enough to create a stalemate. So what we're watching right now is a bit of a stalemate, which I think is going to go in the favor of the Japanese. The Americans are just way too much in the open and currently missing any fire support. But being American all, they're definitely going to bite it. They're going to be holding out till the last. So they're going to be tough ones to break down. So I don't think we're going to see a difference out of this one. We have a few soldiers kind of moving it back over here. 2 support gunners. Automatic rifles, the BAR. We have a whole section not doing anything on this side, but I really don't want to impact the battle. It seems like the squad leader right there with the Thompson isn't really telling his squad to run in, which is quite a big disappointment. And the rest is just gathered back here, hurtled together to cover the officer down there. You can see him on the ground, actually. Has he lost his gun? I think he might have lost his gun. There's plenty on the floor to pick up if they're nice enough for you, sir. There's some movement now. Plenty more fire going out, but once again, I think we've hit a bit of a stalemate. We're going to pause it here. We're going to restart the battle, and we're going to see if things can actually go quite differently. Because it is very interesting once the battle evolves and once more Marines kind of get off the beach. It really just lets these defenses back here shine and definitely utilizes the terrain over here a lot greater as well. So this is more of a cool showcase battle. We're not trying to reach a certain result. I promise you, even if the Japanese would have lost instantly and quite quicker than now, not instantly, that would have been an impossibility, but if they would have lost by now, by this time, then I would certainly have run another scenario to perhaps come to this result, where the Americans kind of get bogged down on the beach. Because I love constantly proving people who think I'm biased or who think I set a fixed result for a battle. That usually isn't the case. It's going to go one way or another, and the one time I get it on tape is the one that's going to count. But that doesn't mean that the defenders or attackers or the people who lost couldn't have won in a second try or a third try or a fourth try. So it's quite interesting to say the least. We're going to pause this one here, and we're going to be back with round number 2. We're going to see if it'll go any differently. See you then. Okay, guys, round number 2 is live. We're going to see how it goes for the Americans attacking this time around. In the first round, they lost 2 or 3 vehicles within the first 10 seconds of combat. 3 of the farmost right vehicles survived, but this time it's the one in the center that's going to be hit first. All the crew and soldiers are pretty much going to survive, so that's a very different result right off the back. Wow. Or the bat is actually the right word for it. Right off the back. I don't know what that means. And more LVTs have also survived the AP shells from the artillery back there, which means that they're going to be able to shoot more explosive rounds and machine gun ammo at the Japanese defenders. This directly also means that a lot more Marines have also survived the first wave. Like, the second wave is pretty much on its way by now, but remember, when that happened the first round, the first wave was pretty much eliminated. There were so many people who were dead. We lost 20 people within the first seconds of the battle itself, just because of the explosive rounds hitting the troop carriers, the water buffaloes and whatnot, and just destroying them, and everyone inside being killed instantly. Very gruesome indeed. Here comes the second wave. This one's going to take a little premature fire back there, as a matter of fact. We're going to go ahead and do what we did last time around. Nothing that's going to impact the battle too much. We're just going to go ahead and disembark the troops. Make sure they get to the fight. And we'll, of course, bring up the vehicles to support. We don't want to leave them too far back. I think something like that will be perfect. We're going to try and play it similar to the previous battle, not to impact anything too much. And look at it already. Way more Marines getting way closer to the Japanese defenses within just minutes of the fight. This only happened until the late parts of the previous battle. Oh, jeez. That is bloody. Look at him. And it'll also be interesting to see if the artillery will perform any differently as well. See if this amphibious landing craft was going to do any damage, and that doesn't seem to be the case. It was quickly dealt with by the Type 4 guns back here. Very gruesome stuff, but already the Marines are making a lot more progress. Look at them storming in here. And the Japanese defense here has taken way more damage. There are still some survivors up behind, though, but I'm sure they'll be dealt with in due time. This tank is down as well, so we can't be using that one. This is interesting. I am kind of right now hoping for a different result than previously, just because it'd be pointless to prove the same point twice or have the same result twice in a row. So we'll have to find out what happens. But I feel as if the Americans are doing greater already, despite the fact that they've lost all their vehicles carrying in the soldiers. That is common practice when it comes to attacking like this. One is alive, and to be a little generous on the Americans, we won't send it all the way up, but we'll definitely keep it within range of the Japanese machine guns and whatnot. What are you? Are you a flamethrower? Sorry to control you, but are you on hold position, sir? You are not. Get your gun out and join the fight, like any reasonable Marine would. Can hear the third wave coming in, so let's keep an eye out for the artillery strikes. We'll have to see what damage they do later. We're going to be sitting back here ready to dismount the attacking Marines. This time they're all on time, pretty much. And here comes the artillery strikes. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I think we connected way more this time around. We had oh, damn. That was so close. Did not hit the actual defense. That was too damn close. And over here, some of the sandbags have been brought down. A lot of shots were focused on this area, but none actually really connected. That is such a shame. I was really hoping the US could need a little more help. But look at this. Look at this. One of the shells that landed over here definitely killed enough men with shrapnel. Those people are all finito. Tracks have been disabled on that one, so that one's not going to be making any moves. The Marines are moving up, and the armor will support. This is the third and final wave. And already I think that they're doing better than they did the first time around. I do think this gentleman over here is currently targeting the... Oh, AA gun, and there we go. AA gun destroyed. Huge progress. Look at the amount of fire being put on these Japanese defenders here. They're even being chased out. Both guns active back here, though. Look at that. Destruction. Beautiful destruction. Christ. Penetrated and killed. Let's move these guys up. Let's really try and get a push going here on the right side. That's the only chance we have. That gun is still active again. How is that possible? It's madness. There we go. There's no way it can be functioning now. It's even smoking. And the crew has been killed once and for all. So that was unlucky that they managed to get it back into action. But it's not looking all too bad for the Marines on this right side. I think we might have to run this a third time around. And I am not saying that I entirely rely on the US artillery bombardment actually connecting better with the shells. I have seen some terrible misses, and despite that, Americans in the trenches up here at the front line. And I've also seen it one time where they actually pushed all the way back here and killed the mortar crew, which would be the final task of the Marines attacking. That really does mean that you've made it far enough to kill everything standing in front of you, or in between you and that mortar. So, interesting stuff. But right now we're kind of approaching a bit of a stalemate, and with all the armor being more or less pretty much destroyed, I don't see anything changing all too majorly. There's just way too many Japanese machine gunners to pin the Americans from and suppress them from getting closer. I don't think it's gonna happen, if I'm gonna be honest with you. Look at that mortar shell. Still a series of Japanese defenders alive. And how's it looking on this side? Well, this time that section is actually a little more daring. Moving up, they also have a 30 caliber machine gun supporting. It's one hell of a landing. It really is. But a lot of US Marines being pushed back. They're pulling back to the safety of the beachhead. Oh, and look at that huge explosion. So many Marines killed, and plenty of people are running back now. A few stragglers coming up here. Where have you guys been? Huh? Fishing with your hands? Lovely 30 caliber support over here, though, suppressing the Japanese troops. But I don't think anything productive is going to come out of this. Knowing the Japanese entrenchments and positions, I don't think it's going to happen. Gentlemen. And ladies, the very few select who are actually interested in this madness that's going down over here. Kudos to you. Instead of watching the Kardashians. Anyway, let's end this one here and do one final third attempt. Okay, I still want to say that the outcome was kind of different here in the second try. My title right now that I'm thinking in my head is the same battle, 3 different outcomes. It's just interesting. And this one has been different than the last 2, right? We have people pushing up on the right side. Pretty much killed off all the Japanese defenders here. There's a few remaining. Do I have any vehicles to play around with? Everyone's absolutely destroyed. What about this one? This one's been abandoned. I didn't even tell it to dismount its crew, so it's been hit in some serious ways. So this time around we're making progress on the right flank. I dare say it's a different result, but not a complete different outcome. So we're gonna pause it over here. I foresee a stalemate worthy of minutes and minutes of firefight. Let's go to a third and final attempt and see if we can actually get a real final outcome. Otherwise, I'm going to have to rethink the title of this video. I really do. And I really hope I don't, because otherwise I'd waste so much time in playing the same battle 3 times around. And perhaps you guys enjoy that, but I could definitely think of more productive things like mapping and preparing for another battle that you guys would also enjoy. But once again, different outcome. Way more US Marines alive. Just not a different end, so to say. But man, if you could have just seen like 1 out of the 10 rounds that I previously did, all those times we had Marines all the way up here by the rocks and trenches fighting the far back of the Japanese defense that right now is frankly just having a break. Oh, a few bullets hitting quite close though, but you catch my drift. Let's see what happens a third time. Okay, we're gonna call second and first attempt pretty much the same, except the second time the US Marines did do better. They've lost way less troops now by the same time, and they've actually probably killed more Japanese defenders as well, and they've also made it a little bit further on the right side especially, which is interesting. It has changed, but it's still a massacre. Let's see what the third round has to offer. See you guys in a second. Guys, third time's the charm, and I'm not saying to necessarily imply that I'm looking for an American victory the third time when I said the third time's the charm. I mean third time's the charm as in this time we'll get a way different result than the previous ones. I'm not saying that the Americans have to win. I just want to see them do way better than they have so far. I know they're capable of it. I definitely know. I've seen it before. It's just performance anxiety, I'm sure. Now that it's live, now that I'm recording, everyone's a little on edge. But look at that! They're lucky! How lucky is that? The first rounds actually missed. 2 rounds were shot and they missed. And the third and fourth round did do damage to the vehicles, but they did not kill any of the actual troops being transported. So far, the third time around, the vehicles have survived a longer time, although right now we're seeing a change in that. But a problem before was always that so many Marines would be killed so early on. Oh, and look at the movement on this side. Jesus Christ. Yeah, didn't expect any of the vehicles from the first wave to survive anyway. But this time around, the Japanese are doing differently as well. The bunkers are still kicking. That's not good. The one on the left side is firing away at the American attackers. What about a flamethrower? Do we have a flamethrower guy nearby who can cause a cool little fire show? Doesn't seem like it. But it's time to dispatch the next wave. And this time, none have jumped out prematurely to go for a swim. Well, that's very nice of you to actually stand by your comrades. There we go. Get everyone out. And join the fight. And then, of course, in regular fashion, let's bring up the vehicles a bit to an even level. It's always that second wave rush of people who are so like hyped up for the battle. They always make it so bloody far in, and then they all kind of get slaughtered. Ow, that's nasty. Except I've seen them do better before. I really have. I was like, what's wrong with the Type 4 guns back here? They're not really doing any damage, but then I think they might be firing at different targets. Mortar's still kicking, and I can tell that one of the LVTs is trying to nail the AA gun, and it almost did so. It killed a lot of people nearby, but it didn't quite finish the task, so it's gonna go down there in the center. But the Marines, this time around, they're doing better. Look at that. They're kind of chasing the Japanese troops away from their defenses with hand grenades and close quarter fighting. Damn, this is some gruesome fighting. Once again, vehicles sitting so far back really won't make a difference to the battle, so let's send them up. And I think that's about all the vehicles we can send up right now. No, there's a few more. Look at that. Very nice. Very exciting. Was that an airburst shell? It kind of exploded above, it looked like. Seriously, why don't you guys throw more hand grenades? Oh, that guy was shot in the throat. But yeah, look at that. We have Americans up by the actual bunkers now. This is like so much better than anything that ever happened before. And two of the vehicles are like somehow not being hit by the Type force back there. So they're just pouring on the Japanese defenders with their machine gun. That is great. One vehicle to the side here was though, however, hit. But plenty of US Marines moving up here to the flank now. And the center is also... Look at that. Look at that guy with the Colt 45. Here comes the final wave. Let's take a look and see what the artillery barrage will do this time around. I am bloody excited. Third time's the charm, guys. Come on. I'm really trying to prove a point here. Battleships and frigates and destroyers, or whoever is firing the 6-round barrage, please do well. Oh, that's a really good miss. That's a really good miss. That's a really good miss. That's a miss. Wow. That's not good at all. But I think we got some good hits over here that killed a lot of infantry, while the others were fucking awful. Sorry about the language. Jeez, you just never know. It was almost better the second time around. Oh, blimey. Let's get the troops out. Don't think we've witnessed any damage being done to the people sitting here, but don't want to lose anyone just sitting by. No, they are indeed all fine. Good to know. And if the vehicles can fire from where they are, then I'll let them be where they are. Look at that! Look at the push! Oh my, it's such a different result already. Wow, so what's happened? This line has been pretty much killed off by the two LVTs. And the AA gun back here is not functional anymore. The trenches have been pretty much cleared out. Look at that. And what's different? Nothing. The same troop composition, the same artillery, the same defenders. Everything is absolutely the same. Wow. And yet the third time that I was really hoping for a different outcome, we're getting it right now. The Americans have completely captured this front, and they're storming in the trenches. And why? Why is it so different this time around? The vehicle support, some of the artillery not connecting as well, some of the Japanese forces being taken out. I do not know, but it's fantastic to see the change. It really, really is. And it really shows a lot of promise in my argument that, well, the battles kind of govern themselves. I really do not make such a big difference. Obviously, if I spawned in 48 King Tigers during a tank fight against the Russians, perhaps the Germans would win. But I never do aim to do that. I always want there to be a possibility of things going haywire, completely different. Look at that. Yes, this one did ultimately get destroyed, and that was the last of the vehicle support. Oh, look at this one. Do-do-do-do. He was a mechanic in high school, so he is right now fixing. And once again, we just have the same flamer. Is it you? It's god damn it, you. He needs his gun out to do something, so as soon as he gets it out, he's... No, and he goes back. Listen, I'm not gonna allow that. You need to join your comrades now in defeating... Look at this guy with the Colt 45. He's actually running up quite close to the defenders. Look at the Americans storming the trenches. Damn, what a push this time around. Look at the fire support of the trenches. This could have been the first time. No, really. This could have been the first time we clicked start. I don't know what's different. Nothing really is. It's just chance. It's just the world. It's just the game. Imagine in real life with all the battles and whatnot occurring. This could have, like, been the case. Some battles that some enemies lost, some battles that some enemies won, or whatnot, could have been turned around to the complete opposite if the right things would have happened, or the wrong things. Some units dying, some assets being destroyed, some things going differently. It's just life in general. And this game kind of demonstrates that so well. Many games, like, you click start all over and over again. If it's the same setup, the game is gonna go the same way. But in this scenario, that's just not the case. Hitting that start button, and it's like you're given a fresh chance, and you're either gonna blow it or you're gonna make it. This mortar's still active, but a lot of the defenders around here have been killed. Look at this squad leader in a flame. Flamer, do your thing. Come on, I want to see a flame in action. Flame, 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 flame. Just flame. Just shoot that thing. I don't care if you can't do it or not. I'm going to do it for you. God damn it. I wanted to see that flamer in action. We'll toast one Japanese soldier for the effort. I'm sorry about that, guys. Come on, they pretty much won 2 times in a row. I'm sure you guys can handle the fact that I control the flamethrower just to burn some Kobe beef. I don't know why he's not very productive and he got shot. That kind of happens. So this MG nest has been taken out. The flank is being completely attacked right now. And the last defending soldier, there's a few more back up there. They're about to be killed. They're about to be killed. And look how many US soldiers remain. Let me just bring up the casualty list. I do think I have the mod that's called Everything Stays Permanently, or Anything Stays Permanently. Wait, let's watch this. Oh, that's horrible. Just gunned down like that. Cool, and the fight is over. Let's look at casualties. So I do think most of the bodies will remain, but they just did so much better this time around. Was it because some of the vehicles survived and could provide more 50 caliber support? Possibly. But the rush, like the third wave, once it came in, they just stormed up and took the trenches. It was fantastic to see, actually. Despite the fact that I think they lost... Like, there was 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5 vehicles. I moved up 3 on this side and 2 on this side, but there were 6 in total. I think one of them was actually destroyed with the crew inside, so I was worried that they would have lost, because I was kind of late to dismount the Sioux troopers. Damn, look at this. So many surviving, too. It's like we're looking at least 50 men. Pretty much the entire third wave. It'd be interesting to know who was part of Wave 1, Wave 2, and Wave 3, and who survived. Like, I could essentially do a scenario where I actually have these guys be different players, but obviously allies. So like player 1, 2, and 3 are the attacking. Player 1 would be Wave 1, player 2 would be Wave 2, and player 3 would be Wave 3. And then I could swap through them and we can see who's actually got the most alive. That'd be quite interesting. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this landing. I thought it was rather insane. My map, my creation, my work, and it's all free. I didn't really mean to push that, but... Once again, still not monetized, and it's not really a concern now, but in a month's time, or in 3 weeks' time, I'll have an entire month where I'm not making any, and that is going to be a little problematic when it comes to paying rent and bills and whatnot. But that aside, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys soon again.